Welcome everyone to the Opportunities for Impact SASI webinar. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the program this summer that we're offering through the Stanford Anesthesia Summer Institute. First off, we're going to have Dr. Larry Chu, Professor and Director of the SASI AIM Lab. We're going to have Dr. Amy Price, Associate Director of the SASI program. So at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see a Q&A bubble. Please click on that to be able to capture your questions, and we will field them all at the end. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and kick us off. So, Dr. Amy Price, would you like to discuss a little bit more about the different opportunities for impact and program development?
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming and welcome. One of the things that we learned from our interns in the past years is that they wanted more opportunities to practice and to make things happen after they left the SASI program. So what we've done this year is we have tried to integrate some great opportunities that we'll be telling you about in just a little while into our program where our program will be interactive all the way through. You're not just going to be sitting beside a lecture. You are going to be a full part of an interactive classroom. You'll make friends. We'll also be talking to you, and there'll be several ways you're learning. But I will just, Dr. Chu, can you share from here?
Hi, now Dr. Chu is going to talk a little bit more about the program curriculum, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of the project-based learning that we are going to be offering. Dr. Chu?
Great, thank you. So, well, first of all, welcome everyone. And I'm very happy that that you could join us today. One of the things that we pride ourselves with at SASI is that our program offers many different ways to learn. We're not only going to engage you in lectures from leading researchers and clinicians and scientists at Stanford. We will do that. We won't only offer you opportunities to have mentorship and guidance from esteemed professionals in the field who've achieved meaningful careers in medicine, including those in the business world, such as VPs in healthcare companies, and Nobel laureate is also going to be in our program this year, professors at Stanford. You will have exposure to all these people. So those are of course some of the things that people come to expect from something like SASI. But I think what differentiates us is what I call problem-based learning. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that one of the things that is truly unique, and what our students say every year is the highlight of their time with us, is that they get to engage in a type of learning where they get to work collaboratively with their peers, so that's co-students. They get to engage around real world problems. So what we're doing is taking knowledge that you're learning in class, but then you get to scaffold and apply that knowledge to real world situations so that it's meaningful. And then finally, you get to work on something that matters to you. You get to pick a topic, a subject, a problem that matters to you. And all of those things combined together create a really powerful learning opportunity, which we call the capstone project. We have a framework for how you will approach the capstone project. It begins with listening and empathy and learning about a problem. In this case, this year, our theme is COVID-19 and society. So what we aim to do is to assemble you in groups of co-students, teams of about 5. And then with your team, you will have mentors, including a real patient. And why do we bring a patient onto your team? Because patients, they have experience, not only in managing chronic conditions, but they have experience in the healthcare system. And they have experience in navigating society at the intersection of healthcare and advocating for their conditions. So they'll be great team members for you as you learn about COVID-19 and you learn about how it's impacting society. And then together with your patients and your team members who are your co-students, you pick a problem that you want to work on together that affects the real world. And using a framework we call design thinking, you will try to ideate, solve, prototype solutions around that problem. And we'll get more into that during the course, but that's a real kind of brief overview about why we do the capstone project, how we get you into groups to work around it, why this summer isn't just going to be about sitting in front of a computer and listening to people give talks, which is great. And of course, you know, we're going to have some fantastic people give fantastic talks, but it's also going to be about collaboration. It's going to be about teamwork. It's going to be about working on real world problems that matter to you. And with that, I'm going to hand back to our wonderful MC, Lindsay.
Thank you, Dr. Chu. He did a fantastic job in describing the program and the curriculum. It's going to be highly interactive this summer, and we're very excited for it. So next up, we're going to have 2 of our alumni that became friends during the program last year. Honored guests, Shindri and Whitney, do a capstone presentation for you to give you a little bit of a snapshot of what Dr. Chu was speaking of. Thank you, Whitney and Shindri.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We're super excited to be here today. My name is Srinidhi Srinivas.
And my name is Whitney Chan. Both of us were so fortunate to attend the Stanford Science, Medicine, and Technology program, also known as SASI, during the summer of 2019. We will be taking you through the capstone overview as well as our own capstone project.
So let's back up a little. What exactly is a capstone project? A capstone project is a patient-oriented project to come up with a solution to a problem. Throughout the program, you will interact with an e-patient, your mentors, doctors, professors, and Silicon Valley professionals in order to dream up a solution. You will also learn the steps of design thinking for a successful solution. The steps are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. You will learn about the process more in depth throughout the program.
Let's dive into our capstone project. This is Elizabeth Jameson. She is a lawyer, public speaker, author, artist, advocate, and e-patient. You'll learn what an e-patient is later during the program. Elizabeth also has multiple sclerosis, and due to her progressive disease, she no longer has use in her hands, legs, making her quadriplegic. Due to the slow progression of her disease, her voice has become weaker and weaker. During one of our chats with her, she confessed that the use of her voice is critical not only to her work, engaging with her family and others, but also a critical part of her identity and feeling fully human. It is constantly on her mind. We knew that we had to help her come up with a solution for this problem.
So like we said earlier, our names are Srinidhi and Whitney. We are both from the Bay Area and will be attending UCLA in the fall. I will be majoring in microbiology, immunology, and molecular genetics, while Whitney is an undeclared social sciences major. Since SASI was such a wonderful and inspiring experience, we have both also decided to pursue the pre-med track. We also had 2 other teammates, Adam and Sean, who are pictured above. Adam is from Texas, while Sean is from Southern California.
Our team was dubbed as Team Extra because we all went the extra mile to make our work stand out. We are all also united through our passion and dedication to learning more about the healthcare field, the importance of empathy in medicine, and user-centered design. Throughout the program, our team became our second family, and to this day, we are all still in touch.
So during the design thinking process, you will define the main problem and goal for your project, which will help guide you throughout your capstone. We defined our main problem and goal as this. Elizabeth's voice is a central part of her identity as a patient advocate and public speaker. So how can we design something that gives Elizabeth her voice back in the most efficient and effective way possible?
When we met Elizabeth, she already had a voice amplifying system called the Chatterbox, which is pictured on the slide. It included a headset with a microphone and a speaker that sat on her lap. However, she was very unhappy with it due to its deficits, which included loud random screeching and hissing. She also felt that the design was relatively unattractive because it either marked her as really disabled or an exercise instructor in a wheelchair. The headset also often ruined her hair, and the speaker that sat on her lap was incredibly heavy. After hearing her concerns, our team decided to dream up an innovative voice amplifying solution that eliminated the current problem she was having with the Chatterbox.
So a how might we question is used as a way to frame our ideation and facilitate brainstorming for possible solutions. Our main how might we question was, how might we innovate already available technology to give Elizabeth a better quality of life? We also kept in mind some other questions, such as how might we design something that doesn't interfere with her daily life? How might we boost her confidence? And how might we design something that does not mark Elizabeth as disabled?
And with that, we started to brainstorm. Here's a picture of our whiteboard where we wrote down some of our ideas. Some of them included Bluetooth technology that looked like Beats by Dre, an over-ear lavalier microphone on a wire, and keychain speakers attached around her wheelchair so they wouldn't sit on her lap, and more. We also came up with constants, or things that would not change from idea to idea, such as a Bluetooth text speaker.
While researching different technologies and brainstorming ideas, we did run into a few challenges and setbacks, which included designing a speaker that is inconspicuous yet effective, connecting and synchronizing devices over several platforms, finding a microphone that would pick up Elizabeth's voice, and designing a virtually invisible microphone for Elizabeth.
After lots of hard work researching, brainstorming, teamwork, and bouncing ideas off of Elizabeth, we came up with our solution, FiMe, which is the shortened version of Amplify Me.
So there are three main components to FiMe. The first is a hypersensitive ASMR microphone. This has a wide range to pick up Elizabeth's faint voice. It is very sensitive to any sound. It attaches around your ear and stretches to her mouth on an invisible skin-colored wire, which helps not mark her as disabled, and is connected via Bluetooth. The second component is the microphone app, which works to connect the microphone and the speaker. And the last component is the powerful mini speaker. This mini speaker is lightweight, it's easy to hide on a wheelchair, it has easily adjustable volume, and can amplify in situations from one-on-one conversations to lecture halls. Together, these components work to provide a more innovative amplifying system for Elizabeth.
Here's our thinking for some of the components of FiMe.
For starters, the ASMR microphone, here's why we chose it. It provides a smooth, clear sound for voice recordings, it minimally picks up surface vibrations, it avoids picking up background noises, and it's almost inaudible internally. It seemed like a perfect fit for picking up Elizabeth's faint voice.
And since we are Team Extra, we couldn't have a presentation without our very own example of the strong capabilities of an ASMR microphone. Even the tiniest sounds could be picked up by within a wide range, which is perfect for Elizabeth and her faint voice. Since we didn't have an ASMR microphone on hand, we decided to use an earbud microphone and some stuff around the classroom to mimic the capabilities of an ASMR mic. We're going to play the video, so please turn your volume a little bit up and enjoy.
Hi, this is an example of what ASMR is. ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. ASMR microphones can pick up the faintest of noises.
Putting all these components together, here's how it works. A skin-colored hypersensitive ASMR microphone is held by a very thin, almost invisible wire over Elizabeth's ear. That way, we eliminated the headset that messed with her hair and made the microphone setup as invisible as possible. Through the microphone app downloaded on her phone, her voice from the mic is transferred through the app to a powerful but small Bose micro speaker that is hidden in her wheelchair. This way, there would be no heavy speaker on her lap and any sound glitches would be minimized.
The best part about our solution is that this technology actually exists. For instance, the ASMR and hypersensitive microphone, the over-ear lavalier microphone, a microphone app that connects microphones to speakers via Bluetooth, and a speaker such as the Bose Micro are already on the market. All we needed to do was put together readily available components to create the best user experience for Elizabeth.
By now, you're probably thinking, so what? Elizabeth is just one amazing person.
However, 1 million plus people in the US are estimated to be living with multiple sclerosis. 10 million people worldwide are living with Parkinson's, and at any given time, at least 16,000 people are living with ALS. Diseases like these create the same symptoms in different people. Find Me could be used to help a wide range of people get their voices and thus their identity back.
To make our solution more scalable to reach a wider audience, we decided to create the Find Me Kit. It includes a small but powerful speaker with a keychain clip in case the patient isn't in a wheelchair, an ASMR lavalier microphone, and a discount code for the app on the App Store, so it's free. We also wanted to create a kids version as well.
Overall, our goals for this project were to improve Elizabeth's quality of life to the best of our ability in regards to her voice. Second, provide a model that can either be rapidly implemented or improved on for future tangible use. And third, to design a kit that can impact a multitude of users who struggle with having a faint voice. However, most importantly, we ultimately wanted to give Elizabeth and people like her their voice and identity back. We want to give people the chance to share their stories, build empathy and connectivity in their communities, and more.
After all our hard work coming up with a solution, here is a live demo of one of our prototypes.
I'm wearing AirPods to serve as the microphone. The app is on my phone and I have a speaker. Hi, my name is Trinity Srinivas, and this is a research project to help Elizabeth. We are using Bluetooth technology.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. Since Trinity and I have been in your shoes before, we decided to compile a helpful list of tips and tricks for tackling the capstone project.
First, get to know your teammates and your patient well. This will help you during the design process.
Step outside your comfort zone and try new things. You never know unless you try.
For instance, during our presentation, our hook involved all of us silently throwing papers at each other while one of our teammates gave an intro. This helps symbolize Elizabeth's career of being a lawyer.
Your capstone project is what you make of it. If you put in all your effort and work hard, you'll get so much more out of it.
And lastly, and maybe most importantly, make sure to communicate with your mentors, professors, and your e-patient. This will help you maximize your impact and improve your design. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you
so much, Whitney and Shinri. That was an absolutely fantastic presentation, and thank you for sharing your brilliance and your standard of excellence. You definitely go the extra mile, and you're going to go very far at UCLA. Congratulations. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay.
So we're going to wait to have the Q&A till the very end of our presentation. And next up, we're going to have Dr. Price and Dr. Chu come back on and share a little bit more about the opportunities for impact that we're going to be having this summer. Dr. Price, do you want to kick us off?
Opportunities for impact, yes. So we have some amazing people working with us that we at Stanford are working with. So I don't know if many of you may have heard of the World Health Organization, and we will be working at SASI with their research and communications center, and we will be doing some research. You'll be part of the research and working with them. And we've learned so much ourselves. They put an entire study that many for other investigators would take a couple of years. They've actually put that whole study together and are just collecting the data now, and it's only taken them 3 months. But they look at every aspect of research, like what's it like for the end user? What happens in a low resource country? What's available and what's not? What are the cultural differences? For example, in Africa, when we talk about community masks, one of the main questions was, how old do the children have to be before they can go out in public and wear a mask? And the reason why is because air conditioning is not common in Africa. So the weather is very, very hot. So the little children wearing the masks, they're afraid that could affect their breathing. And so there's so many opportunities to learn how to make healthcare better, not only for us here in the US, but for people around the world. Dr. Chu, would you like to share about our science media communications?
So we have another opportunity with a hospital called Sutter Health, and they are looking to help improve communications around COVID-19, and especially with the intersection of health and society and how people are impacting their health while at home and sheltering in place. And so again, just to help you understand what these opportunities of impact are about. So you heard the excellent capstone project that was presented about Elizabeth Jameson and her problem, and then the solution that was created, so what we're presenting here, these 5 opportunities for impact, what they are potentially opportunities to take that idea one step further. Instead of just ending it as a capstone presentation at SASI, we are providing 5 organizations who have committed to attend the capstone presentations, listen to your presentations, and then if they hear something they like that possibly aligns with one of these 5 topics, they have pledged to adopt or work with one of those teams to potentially bring that project into that organization. And so that's kind of what we're talking about here. And for the Sutter Health Group, that would mean working with a team that might help them implement some behavior change solution that would help people stay healthy during shelter in place. And to disseminate that communication, whether that's media, like social media or video, throughout their health networks. Dr. Price, do you want to talk about the third impact and the organization? Maybe tell them about the organization too.
Sure.
Because part of the opportunity is also the organization and the potential they have to take the students' work and idea and amplify it to create impact in the world.
Yeah,
they might not know who Microsoft is. I'm kind of joking there,
but well, I think everybody might, Dr. Chu, know who Microsoft is, even if you're using Apple. But Microsoft actually has been great with us, and they've done a couple of things. Like, they're interested in developing with us masks for the community. So maybe you can't hear or you can't see properly, you're small or you're large. How could we actually get a mask that fits and that works for you if we all have to you know, share those masks and wear them everywhere because we're protecting each other? And then the other aspect is to know which materials are good to make the mask with. Right now, the general public really has very little power because the machines that are used to determine the fit, how well the materials filter, and how easy it is to breathe through, and of course, whether they actually stop viruses from coming in. Those machines, just to even rent them, are thousands and thousands of dollars a week. So they're out of reach, not only for students or for members of the general public, but often for whole countries who don't have access to that community. So Microsoft Research, they've come with us, and they're going to develop an app with you and with your help, and that app will be able to by face recognition, it will know which kind of mask will fit you best and will be comfortable on your face. So, you know, sometimes people go to Sephora or a beauty store or something, and you can get a digital you to see which makeup or whatever would look good. Well, this takes this one step further than fashion, and it brings it into health. So what mask not only would look good on you, you can try them ahead of time, but also how would it fit? And then the other aspect is they have a machine within the app that measures the amount of air and the filtration going in and out. And so then anybody, no matter who they are, as long as they have a phone, they can find out, will my mask stop particles, and will it stop virus from going out and infecting other people? And it also judges how much pressure it takes to breathe through. So for example, if you put a plastic bag over your nose and your mouth, you would have 100% protection, but the breathing might be a bit of a problem. So that's not something that you want to do. So there has to be a balance between it being able to breathe and talk and move around in your mask, but that also that mask provides some protection. So they'll be here to go into that later. And the one of the researchers that we have, actually, his name is Teddy Sayed from Microsoft Research, and he just won in Canada. He's a Canadian by birth, but now, of course, he lives at Microsoft, more or less. And but he just won the award for the best doctorate in all of Canada. So it was really a substantial record. So he's not much older than people who are taking the program, and yet he's making innovations that change the world. And we want that same kind of power and excitement for you. I mean, who knows? I'm sure you made all kinds of innovations before this that maybe weren't making that same kind of impact, but we'd like you to join us on that adventure. Dr. Chu, would you like to share about the next one?
There's so many opportunities. I can't keep track of them all.
I know.
Let's see. What's the next one? Oh, yes. Okay. It's the No Child Left Behind project. So, Dr. Bassam Qadri, who said he can't be here for this call, has been working to help us arrange this opportunity for impact. He's working with automotive companies, Volvo, Mercedes, Hyundai in Detroit, on a project called No Child Left Behind, which is a problem that is unfortunately happening again and again, where people forget about leaving a baby or a child in the back of a car in the car seat, and then, you know, unfortunately the child has a bad outcome. And so the opportunity for impact here is possibly to either through communication strategies or possibly even a new technological approach, work with the automotive industry to try to address this problem through behavior change or situational awareness prompting to improve the safety of automobiles for passengers. Dr. Price, back to you for the last one.
Oh, I was just going to add a little bit to yours, if that's okay. I was thinking while you were sharing about that it's not only children, but sometimes people leave animals in their car, and they can die too. So I'm hoping that with some user feedback, when they decide what to do, they include the animals too. So anyway, now I'll go on to what I'm supposed to do, okay? So the next project that we have, and these are just a sample of projects, we will have others, is that you'll be working with us as researchers on informed consent. So many times when we sign up for something like an app at the App Store, or we buy something, there's probably 37 pages of what your rights are. Do any of us read them? No, we just sign our lives away. But when you're going through a clinical trial, there's been a lot of dangerous things happen because people don't know what they signed, and then things happen in that research, and people are harmed, and they're saying, well, nobody told me. So informed consent means making the participant, or the person that you're going to do the research with, a shared decision maker with you. So it's a shared decision about whether they consent to the trial, what they know about the trial, what they don't know about the trial, and also how can people like you and I, how can we be involved in making those consents so they're more user friendly? Can they be done with design thinking? And what about when people can't think for themselves anymore and the family has to decide? And so here you are, your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, they've maybe always been like a really warm, wonderful part of your life. You always spoke back and forth, and now suddenly maybe they even were a parent who at a time in your life told you what to do, and there you are, and they're too sick to decide for themselves what they would do in this instance. And the hospital says, well, you as the next of kin, you know, the person that's coherent, you need to decide for them. So what kind of a decision-making process do those people go through? Because not only have they had to deal with watching their relative or their loved one getting bad news, they've also had to integrate that news and to keep on comforting their loved one, and trying to make whatever life that they have left okay. Or maybe your relative is, they can't think properly anymore. They're out of their mind. They're just, you know, crazy. And how about, and they don't want, and you know, they don't want people to decide anything for them, but for their safety, somebody has to decide something. What would you do? So these are the areas that we're looking at in the area of informed consent and informed shared decision making, and we'd love to have you work on some research about that with us. Lindsay?
Thank you so much, Dr. Price and Dr. Chu. I have no doubt that this next group of students is going to have a great impact and going to change the world, just like our past SASI students have done. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So now I'm going to open it up for some questions. We're starting to get some coming in. So the first one is, I'll let you take over, Dr. Chu. It says, do these capstone projects change for those attending the research and leadership track? If so, in what way?
Yes, so I will actually talk about the core curriculum, which is what everyone will do. So there will be a capstone project for the core curriculum that will focus on COVID-19 and society. You will have a patient mentor expert on your team, and we will have you work with other experts as you need to have resources for your project. And we will help you find a topic that addresses a real world problem that is of interest to you. And these 5 opportunities for impact, you do not necessarily have to align your project to these. We're just saying that, you know, these organizations have offered to mentor students along these topic areas that they see when they come for the capstone projects. Now, that said, there are a good number this year of students who have asked to also participate in our research and leadership engagement track. Now that track is an additional amount of work, and it is going to have its own project. So those of you who are in the research and engagement, leadership engagement track, you will actually be doing the capstone project that is part of the core curriculum, and you will be doing an additional project that is part of your research and leadership engagement track. And for that, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Price, who is leading that track, to tell you more about it.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you very much. So these projects that you'll be working on in the research and leadership track, if you choose to join up, these are projects that are already starting to take place, and they may not be finished before the research is over, but you as interns will have had a part in shaping that research. And some of the opportunities would include, of course, the informed consent area. Others include what's called a focus group, or you'll be sharing with us what you think about how masks would fit. You'll be testing materials. You'll be learning how to use a video camera, which is really good. I don't know how to use a video camera. I just try with my phone every once in a while, and it's a total disaster. So I'm going to be listening really carefully to that course, because you'll learn how to video, and you'll also learn how to edit. And it makes, when you can do things like that, even with simple editing tools, it makes your presentation so much more powerful, because we are all really meant to see in more than just like that flat black and white cartoon like pictures. If we could video, it makes things come alive, and people can learn just from videoing. I remember I needed to take neuroscience because I needed to fix something in myself, and there wasn't an answer about fixing that. And so the only answer I had was to take neuroscience. So I hated neuroscience because it was all initials, and I had some memory issues from being damaged. And then one day, it's actually, I think it may be the president of the university here. There was a slide that he did, but it was an interactive slide, and it was in black and white. It was grainy, it was old, but it showed the neurons and how they attracted and repelled each other. And I thought, and then I fell in love with neuroscience. I thought, oh, like it's like a family, it's alive, it reproduces. But before that, before I could see it visually, it was just like numbers. And I just thought, oh, I don't know if I could possibly do it. But when I could give those numbers a name, it became real for me. And so when you have video skills, when you learn the video skills, that you can also make your research and what you want to share, stories of other people, science, you can make it alive for others. And well, we have a few projects like that. We'll be testing the fit of masks that healthcare workers use. And again, as I was sharing with the informed consent, so if you come to the research track, you will not be bored, and we would love to have you. Dr. Chu?
Thank you so much, Dr. Price. You are an expert at what you do, and thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. So the next question that we have is, will the e-patients at this summer's SASI program be COVID-19 patient survivors? excellent question. Dr. Chu, do you want to answer this one?
So we are looking for patient partners to work with you who have lived through the experience of COVID-19. One of the things that we are mindful of is that COVID-19 is a very recent pandemic. So people have only recently suffered from this illness, and many are just recovering. And it takes actually many years of training to become part of our SASI program. So patients participate in our Stanford training programs for many years to learn about design thinking, to learn about teaching before they actually are invited to work with our SASI students. So I expect that it may be difficult to find a patient with that experience unless they've already been through our program and had come down with COVID-19. Though we are, of course, in contact already with patients who have had COVID-19, it is remaining to see if we can provide them with enough training and expertise in design thinking and working with students before the program, given that is a very recent illness. So to answer your question, it's uncertain at this time. I think that we definitely would be able to have someone who is a patient, someone who has experienced the illness, give a talk. It's unclear if they would be able to, if we're going to have mentors, but that would be working on a team. I hope that answers your question.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Chu. Well, the next question, I'll open it up for Whitney and Trinity. If you wouldn't mind just telling the students a little bit more about what they can do to prepare before they come to camp this summer. Any advice you can give?
So I think for me, I was already pretty involved in some leadership stuff in my high school. I did Model UN as an example. So I was like leading 1 or 2 clubs. So that really helped me prepare for leadership. The other thing I did was I watched a few videos on YouTube on leadership by like TEDx speakers, and that was really helpful because I got insight into what exactly leadership involves. And I would say the main lesson I got out of that was a lot of times when you think of a leader, you picture someone ordering people around and stuff like that, but it's not necessarily always about that. A large part of leadership is actually diplomacy and respecting other people's opinions. So I would say go watch those talks, try to get involved in your community. I know it's especially hard during this time, but try to get involved in your community, see if you can make a difference. And I would say that would be a really good preparation for this program.
Yeah, for me, before the program, I was a generally shy person. So before the program, I attended another medical program and we learned a lot about anesthesiology and stuff like that. So when I came to SASI, I felt more confident in myself to participate in class and share my ideas on my team and things like that. So if you're like me and you're a little bit shy, you can always do research beforehand. And I definitely think practicing public speaking is also a really, really good skill because for me, I'm definitely not a natural public speaker, and you'll be doing a lot of that for the program. So those are my 2 tips.
Perfect. Well, wonderful. Well, you've both been very successful, so thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Chu, would you like to share any tips for success that they can do, any books they could read or anything of that nature before the program?
Well, you know, we are going to give books and materials for the program. You know, I think my advice to the students is to bring your curiosity with you this summer, and bring that genuine spirit of wanting to try something new. I think we are all sometimes a little shy, sometimes a little bit scared of new things. You know, we all don't like to, you know, try something new and fall flat on our face. But I think what's fun about SASI, and I think what we do in the program is we make it a safe place where people can really be curious and explore things that they never thought that they could do or might do, including careers in medicine, and meet clinicians, physicians in person, um, meet it's a program where status doesn't matter, where you know, I love the the sentiment about you know, leadership is about treating people with respect. I think that's so important. SASI is the kind of place where, you know, you're gonna be with in a session with a Nobel Prize winner, and you're going to be in a session with a patient, and you should be equally comfortable to ask a question to either of those people. And that's the kind of program we have, and the good leadership skills that you'll learn is how to cultivate that kind of respectful place where people feel safe to be themselves. So yeah, that's my advice to you: is bring your curiosity, bring your willingness to explore new things and collaborate and learn, and we're really excited to have you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chu. You definitely have that curious spirit, and it's very contagious. So I know that a lot of the staff will have that. You'll find that it's a big part, component of the program. So thank you for sharing. Dr. Price, do you want to take this next question? How do I prepare for the capstone project?
You just got some excellent preparation tips already, and everything that you need to prepare for the capstone project in terms of academic things will be supplied for you. You'll learn how to look up materials. You'll learn how to design. So it doesn't matter what you don't know, you will learn, right? And sometimes experience can even work against you because it makes you a little less likely to try new things and be curious. And what you'll learn is that there's different aspects of the program where you'll be like the best ever at something, and the person beside you will really struggle. But then you find out the next thing you do, you're struggling, and they are like they're crushing it. So that's why people learn in the SASI program to work in groups, and that will help you all the way through your career and all the way through your life, because no one's an island, and learning how to do things and see things through other people's eyes and through their training and to learn from them, it's so exciting. That's one of the things that I've loved about working on the World Health Organization research, because it's topics I have no training in. Completely strange to me. When they first start, every second word is, I wonder if I can look this up fast enough on Google to figure out what it is. And then as things go on, you learn more and more, and you pick it up. And that's a part of being curious and adventurous and putting away fear, because knowing that for all of us to step out and do something new, sometimes it's a little bit scary, but on the inside, you're all gonna feel the same way. And it also helps. I think it bonds relationships too, because you need each other, and you figure that out, and you figure out how to do things together.
Completely. Thank you, Dr. Price. And I know that Whitney and Trinity, they met during the program and became friends, because I think that they work so closely together. So you can see how you're not only going to grow as a person and academically, but you're going to build friendships and such as well that'll last a lifetime. So that's fantastic. Let's see. So the next question is just asking a little bit more about the integration of some of the tactical components. So where is there going to be suturing this summer? Or can you talk a little bit about some of that integration with the microscope and things of that nature? Dr. Chu?
So we will be teaching suturing and splinting skills this summer, and we'll be doing it virtually. So we'll do it, remotely. Those will be part of the materials that will be sent to you through the mail. We will be organizing our students in groups of 5 for those type of activities, and then we'll have mentors and faculty come to each group and help virtually mentor on those skills.
We're going to make it as interactive as possible, and I have no doubt it's going to be really fun. So, Dr. Price, do you just want to wrap us up with just talking a little bit about the program dates, if they haven't heard about their acceptance, what they can do, and a little bit about the fall component?
If you don't know your status, if you're fully paid, then you've gone through the whole acceptance status and you're accepted. If you're in the middle somewhere, like you're waiting for a scholarship, or maybe you're waiting for a little bit extra, or you're just registered, and you maybe paid an initial deposit, or you got a waiver for financial aid, then know if there's finances available. Being in that state is not going to hurt your chances in the program. So if there are sufficient finances available and you're a scholarship recipient, no one's going to say you can't go on the research track because you're too late, or anything like that. If you don't know where you're at with acceptance and you feel nervous about it, then definitely email our offices at summermed@stanford.edu, and one of our staff, probably Marley, will help you, and they'll let you know what your status is and what you have to do next. And I know that it's possible. Things can happen. We had someone when I was going to school for a master's, and they showed up and they weren't even registered. They'd gone through all the paperwork. Some software glitch had happened with the credit card transaction. It printed them out a receipt that wasn't any good. And there they arrived from halfway around the world, not registered. So if you have doubts and you feel it's a problem, don't live with that anxiety, because with a simple email, we can share with you what the next steps are.
And then just a little bit about a taste of the fall component, if that's what.
Okay. So, well, we don't know what's going to go on with the fall yet, because none of us ever thought that COVID-19, when it started, would go on this long, that we would still be isolated or wearing masks. But when the university opens, what we would like to do is offer also kind of a clinical weekend. And I think that it would probably be best, because Dr. Chu's kind of he's working through all the core component, and he's developed it, and he can explain better about what that might look like. Would you mind answering that, please, Dr. Chu?
Certainly. So we are looking at a possible fall date to hold a clinical skills workshop where we could have our Stanford clinical faculty teach you some of the clinical skills that we would normally teach in person. So that might include opportunities to practice your suturing with us in person, even though you'll learn it on your own this summer with us mentoring you virtually. We would go over airway, so intubation. We would go over epidural placement, we would go over possibly having a simulation in our sim center. The challenge, as Dr. Price said, is if we can do a fall date. So it is all predicated on if the School of Medicine actually allows us to do it. If we can't, then unfortunately we won't be able to offer that session this year or for you at all. But hopefully we will, but if not, we're just not going to be able to. It's something that we wanted to do, but you know, we may not be able to. What we do know is Stanford is half opening the campus, so only half of the students are allowed to come back this year for social distancing. And as far as I know right now, they are not allowing us to reserve the rooms. So we will keep you informed, but we do hope we can. And then if we can, obviously it's also finding a date that the majority of people could attend. So there are a lot of logistics there to be coordinated. And also the other thing is if there's a second wave of COVID-19 in the fall, that could change everything again.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Dr. Chu. So please stay tuned, everyone. So we'll let you know. So I'm going to wrap it up now. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So my name is Lindsay, and I would be happy to answer your questions further. If you just want to email summermed@stanford.edu and let me know you'd like to discuss, set up a time. I'm happy to set up a time with you to go over just more of the in-depth questions and just to get to know you and to just talk further. So we're very excited for this summer's program, and we just can't thank you enough for your time. So thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for our
Thank
guests.
you.